have heard of GCF or LCM, or greatest common factor, least common multiples. Okay? I think you'll understand a little bit more once we start talking about them. You just might not remember them. Because I know last year in 5th grade you did talk about GCF, or the greatest common factor. We're going to change our notes just a teeny little bit on some of these. We're not going to use the both methods that they are using. We're going to use one of their methods, and then we're going to do another method. I just feel like it's a little bit easier for you guys to understand. All right, so looking at the top here, we are going to go through some notes. All right, so we're going to talk about factors. A number is composed of other numbers called factors. Now, factors are two numbers multiplied together. And then obviously they give you, but right, that's awesome. Okay, so they give you an example right here of two factors. So two factors would be 2 times 3. Those are two numbers multiplied together to give you an answer. So one of the factors is 2 and one of the factors is 3. And they are factors of what? Well, raise your hand, what do you get when you multiply 2 times 3? Sam?
6.
You get 6. So those are two factors of the number 6. All right, when a set of numbers has the same factor, it is called a common factor. So what is another word that means common? Like, what's another word that means common? Silas? Who? No. Well, yes, but no. Like, so what's another word that means common other than ordinary? Kira? Often?
Similar?
Okay, really close to similar. Really close to similar. Y'all are like way up here. You need to be like way down here. Like rocket science, GCF. Y'all are rocket science right now. I need you back to GCF. So, another word for common would be same. Raise your hand and try, right? All right, so common and same are the same thing, and you'll understand why that is so important when we get into this. All right, this is supposed to say greatest common factor. I can't even fit it on that line, so I am simply going to write GCF. GCF is greatest common factor. My handwriting is too big, so I'm just simply writing GCF. Mason, you need to be writing, sweetie. Put your legs down so you can write neatly. All right, the GCF is the largest factor that a set of numbers has in common, or same. All right, so the next two things that we're going to do is there's two examples of ways to find GCF. One is the Venn diagram, and then the other one, we're not doing the ladder method, so you can just cross out ladder. I'll tell you what we're going to do down there. All right, so it says determine the factors of 15 and 60 using a factor tree. That is what we're going to do here. Then organize the prime factors into the Venn diagram. We're not jumping into prime factorization and all of that right now. We'll get to that next unit. But for now, we're just kind of briefly touching. So, what are the two factors, or what are two factors of 15? Like, what two numbers would we multiply together to get 15? So that's what I'm asking when I say, what are two factors? Sincere. 5 and 3. So 5 times 3. Now, is there anything that I can multiply to get 5 other than 1 and 5? No. So that is a prime number. And again, we'll get into prime numbers later. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it today. Is there anything I can multiply to get 3 other than 1 and 3? No. So that is also a prime number. So technically, we're done. Those are the only two factors other than 1 and 15 for 15. Now, let's look at 60. I'm going to give you two factors just so that we can kind of... So I'm going to say 5 times 12. Well, what do we know about 5 from 15? What do we know about 5 from 15? Ansley. So we know we're good. We're not doing anything with that. Please stop tapping. What about 12? Does 12 have more than one set of factors that's not 1 and 12? Yes, it does. So let's go ahead and let's do 2 times 6. Now, side note, 2 is the only prime number that is even because there's only one set of factors, 1 times 2. So this is our prime number here. All right, and 6 is not a prime number. The reason 6 is not a prime number is because it's got more than one set of factors. What's the only other thing other than 1 times 6 that equals 6? Alex? 2 times 3. And what do we know about both 2 and 3? They're prime numbers. All right, so now when you take and you put this information into a Venn diagram, you put all the numbers that are not the same, for 15 over here. Well, what do you notice about the two numbers for 15 and the numbers for 60? Ansley? Right. So technically with a Venn diagram, anything that is the same between the two things you're comparing goes in the middle. So we're putting 5 and 3 in the middle. Does everybody understand why? Is there anybody who doesn't understand? Okay, so 5 and 5 are in both numbers, right? 3 and 3 are in both numbers. There's only one set of factors over here for 15. So there's nothing that 15 has that's not in 60. If we had like, if we had like 7 over here, like we multiply something times 7, then 7 would go in the outer part of the 15 because 7 would not be in 60. But there's nothing in 15 that's not in 60. Okay? All right, now in 60, we do have what number in 60 that we don't have in 15 though, that we kind of circled? BK, which number in 60 do we have that we didn't circle or put in the middle of our Venn diagram? 2. So 2 goes over here. Does that make sense to everybody? Is there anybody who's like, I'm not sure why? All right.
Is it okay that I did 6 times 10, but I did the same exact thing up there, but
Moving forward, when we are doing notes, you write what I write. Okay? When you get to your work, that's fine. But when we're taking notes, I would prefer if you followed me. All right. To me, that is a lot of steps and a lot of like,
I just think it's really easy.
I'm going to show you the tall T. All right, so instead of the ladder method, I want you to write next to it tall T. Don't talk, just write. Holy moly, children. All right, what you're going to do is this is already drawn up here, but you're essentially going to make a big giant capital T. And we're going to find all of the factors going in numerical order. What that means is starting with 20, I'm going to do 1 times 20. Then I'm going to say to myself, okay, well, what times 2 is going to give me 20 evenly? No remainders, no decimals, no fractions. Evenly. BK. All right, so then I'm going to write 2 times 10. Okay, what about 3? What times 3 will give me 20 evenly? Nothing, right? So it doesn't work. So we skip 3. All right. What times 4 gives me 20 evenly? Like 5. All right. And then you'll notice I'm about to say, well, what times 5 gives me 20? So we're going to start repeating. So we're done. We are done with a set of factors for 20. So we have 3 sets of factors, 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. We're done. We're going to move on to the other one. So 16, again, I'm starting with 1 times 16. All right, what times 2 gives me 16? What times 2 gives me 16? Isaac.
8.
All right, so 2 times 8. What times 3 gives me 16? So let's make a mistake here. Because is there anything times 3 that's going to give me 16? No. Let's say that we say 3 times 8. How would I be able to correct myself really quickly? How would I be able to say, okay, that's not right because, Samantha?
You're repeating.
You're repeating. And we're definitely repeating with a different number, right? So if I try to say, well, 3 times 8 gives me 16, I'm going to look at this and be like, no, that's not right. Because 2 times 8 gives me 16. All right, so we actually find out 3 does not work. All right, what times 4 gives me 16? Times 4 gives me 16. Drake?
4.
Okay. So 4 times 4. What about 5? What about 6?
9.
Neither one. What about 7?
9.
What about 8? So now we're starting to repeat. All right, so now you found all your factors. Now you have to circle the ones that are the same. So obviously 1 is always going to be the same. We don't include 1. Okay? So 2 is the same in both of those. 4 is the same. Do I have anything else that is the same? Nope. So which one is the greatest common factor between 20 and 16 that we circled? What is the greatest common factor or the greatest number that we circled between those two? Okay, 4. So your GCF here equals 4. Okay, so that's the tall T method compared to the prime factor tree and the Venn diagram. We're going to do another one. I'm going to model for the rest of the day the tall T method. If you don't like the tall T method, you are more than welcome to do the prime factor and then the Venn diagram. I'm not going to say you can't. I'm just going to say I'm not going to model it anymore. All right, so this one. Who would like to walk me through the factors for 24? Factors for 24. All right, Kira. Starting with 1. Okay. Okay.
3 times 8.
Okay.
4 times 6.
Okay.
5 and 6 would be 3.
Okay, so we're good. So we have found all of our factors for Mason. Go get your iPad. And Angel L, go get your instrument. Mason, go get your iPad. And Angel, go get your instrument. All right, so we have found all of our factors because we start repeating. Let's look at 40. Who wants to give 40 a try? All right, Silas B.
1 times 30.
Okay,
2 times 2.
okay.
No 3.
What'd you say?
No 3.
No 3.
4 times 2. 12 times 8.
How do we know? Like, how can I check to make sure? Like, what do I need to do? Kira. So, if I popped out real quick and I did division, and I did 40 divided by 6, okay, it's not going to go in there. And I automatically know 6 doesn't go into 40 evenly. It's either going to be what? 6 or 7. And neither.
6 times 7 is 42.
Right. So I know that it's not going to go in evenly. So I know 6 is not a factor. Okay, so doing division helps you determine if a number is a factor. All right, so our factors are 2. We don't have a 3. We have 4. We don't have a 5. We don't have a 6. We do have an 8. Is that it?
Yep.
So then, what is my GCF for 24 and 40? What's the greatest number that we circled between the two? Blake. 8. All right, I want you guys to do the bottom two, 1 and 2 on your own. Stand up when you're done. Guys, you're doing number 1 and number 2. Actually, just stand up after number 1. Stand up after you finish number 1. All right, let's go ahead and have a seat. So my factors for 6 are 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. That is it. Now, we've done 24 already, so I'm just going to copy this information down from over there. And then I'm going to find my GCF. So I have 2, and then I have 3, and then I have 6. So my GCF for this one is going to be 6. We are going to do number 2 together because you have one of these on your homework tonight. Just put it down in the garbage and sit down. So you have 3 numbers that you're looking for the GCF. Does that change how we solve this problem? No. So I have 18, I have 24, and I have 60. I'm still going to find all the factors for each one of those. Now, have we done 24 already? Yeah, so let's go ahead and just copy again our information for 24. All right, who would like to help me with 18? All right, Kira. You gotta speak up, baby.
1 times 18.
Okay.
2 times 9.
Okay.
3 times 6.
All right.
No, not 4.
Okay.
Not 5.
Okay.
And then doing 6.
Perfect. All right, and then for 60, we're going to do 1 times 60, 2 times 30, 3 times 20, 4 times 15, 5 times 12, and 6 times 10. Does 7 work? Does 7 go into 60 evenly? You need to copy this down, son, so you have an example for your homework. All right, 7 doesn't go in evenly. What about 8? Does 8 go into 60 evenly? What about 9? All right. So we're going to find our GCF. So I have 2 in each one of these. I have 3 in each one of these. I don't have 4 in each one. I have 6 in each one of these. I have only 1 8. So then my GCF for this one is what? 6. All right. your homework tonight is just going to be these top 3 because we didn't get to LCM. So you're doing number 1, number 2, and number 3 across the top of this paper. I want you to glue this paper in though because you're going to need it for tomorrow. Okay? I passed them out. What are you, what? It's right there. All right, so please take your paper or take your notebook, flip it over. You're going to write homework 9/20, and I want you to glue it in just the top part. So just the top part of this. That way you have the option to do the work in your notebook if you need to, or you can do it on your paper. And remember, homework tonight is 1, 2, 3.
Are we gluing both these in?
Yes, please glue both of them in. With your notes, guys, you can just fold it in half like a book and glue it down. But this one, please don't glue it all the way down.
So we put like this thing on the left side.
Yeah, put this paper underneath your notes page. All right, we are done for today. The bell's probably about to ring in the middle of all this. Do not fret. Just keep doing and gluing in what you need to.